Hi, Anti-Society! Welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we're watching episodes 217 and 218 of Bleach. So in the last couple of episodes, we were starting this new part of the arc after doing the flashback, and we were really just kind of reestablishing who was involved in the conflict right now, and also like setting up the fights that we were going to get into. So I feel like the first episode, it was like, hey, remember that all of these people were here and that we were dealing with this conflict? And then the next episode that we watched was like, so here are the fights we're going to focus on. And I definitely called that we were going to be dealing with the, like, just Arrancar first. We're not going to get to the Espada right away because there's, like, a lot of people that need to get into this fight, and I feel like we're going to have to space things out so that it's not, like, going straight to the really hype fights. Like, we're not going to fight Aizen right now, obviously. But really excited to see some of the characters coming back, like Ikagu and Yamichika, and of course we had Hizagi, who I don't know a lot about, but we did see him during the flashback and his connection to Kense, that they had a connection with each other, and be interested to see if they see each other again as Vizard finally shows up to this fight. We know that they're on the way, but they might be doing something else for Urahara because he's also not here at the moment, so who knows what they're working on. But he is also there, and we had Kira, which I'm very interested in Kira and his participation in this conflict because, like I said at the end of the last reaction, I feel like he really needs to come into his own a lot more. Like, I feel like facing Gin again really isn't the point. I feel like it's gonna be about him, like, discovering himself as someone who isn't just following Gin. And I think that we're gonna have to see them, like, come face to face at some point, but I don't think we're gonna have to see them fight. Like, I don't think that's the point of it, but I am interested in Kira kind of, like, proving himself to himself. I feel like everyone's kind of forgiven him that needs to forgive him. I feel like he needs to learn how to forgive himself and, like, fight for his own reasons and his own morals and, like, be okay with himself in a way that he isn't at this point. And we did get to see some of Ichigo versus Ulquiorra, which is, like, not what I was expecting. I don't know if we're going to continue to see that because we did set up these fights with, like, the other Soul Reapers against these Arrancar, so we might be focusing on that for a while as opposed to getting back into Ichigo and Ulquiorra. But I do want to see more of that fight, partly because it's gonna be cool, but also because I want to know more about who Ulquiorra is, and we always end up getting a lot of context for characters and their motivation during these fights, and I just feel like there's going to be some kind of, I don't know, epiphany moment for him because there's definitely some progression. And I was talking about this in the comments of the last video with some people about how Ulquiorra, like, started out being, like, very disconnected and very uninterested in humans. Like, he was just, like, stepping back. He was letting Yami do what he needed to do and was, like, totally okay with just, like, killing off a bunch of people because he was like, they don't matter at all. Whereas now we have him asking questions about, like, what it means to, like, experience things and feel things and, like, connect with people, and he still very much seems disconnected and, like, there isn't a lot of, like, emotion going on, and I don't think that he fully understands, but he is asking questions. And we did have that part where he said to Ichigo that he wasn't going to kill Orihime, which is, like, a very different thing from when we first met him, when he was like, anyone who isn't useful you can just kill them off because they're not. It was almost like he was disgusted by their existence, you know? Whereas, like, now he's, like, letting Orihime live even though she serves no purpose anymore. Like, Aizen doesn't need her, or he's completely thrown her to the wayside, so, like, she is not useful to the overall plan, and yet he is letting her live. So I feel like we're going to get some kind of moment with him. Maybe it's gonna be him, like, not figuring anything out and just being okay with that, or it's gonna be him kind of discovering why people feel certain ways and, like, maybe growing in some interesting way as a character. I'm not really sure. I don't know how much I want to like end up empathizing with Ukeura given that he is an adversary. But let's get into episode 217 and get into some of these cool fights. In three, two, one, go. I do like this opener. I think someone told me, yeah, in one of the comments, someone brought up that there's actually two openers by Scandal. There's this one, and then I think one later on. Maybe there was one earlier on. I don't think so. I feel like I would have noticed. I need to like wake up a little bit. I'll admit that. I'm sure we'll get into some cool fights and that'll wake me up. Yes. But he's been, for now, detained until further notice. I still don't understand why they're attacking the top of the of the pillars. I feel like you'd want to attack the bottom if you were trying to destroy it. I forgot about the ridiculous nature of Emichika's fate. Just like refusing to open his eyes. I was gonna say, is it Kira? Are you? I wouldn't have expected Gin to have much thought about Kira. I'm assuming this is yeah. These two though. Is that how we're is that how we're gauging who is uglier? Is that the contest we're having? I believe in you. We still haven't seen Yumichika's like full power with his Zanpakuto because we like cut away from it when he was using it. Was he using it against Hizagi? I can't remember now who everyone fought in Soul Society when people were fighting each other. Um, what? Come again? There's a lot of uh adjectives thrown at me right there. No, he's fine. uh, the sass. I never thought I would meet someone more extravagant than Yumichika, and yet here we are. Are we? Yeah, these are I'm like these are different adjectives. This is a different attack. Did he cut his hair? Uh-oh. Why is this turning into a magical girl anime? Like, how the attack is coming together. Are we transforming too? Is it like full magical girl moment? I'm assuming that it's a released form as well. Which now that I think about it, release forms are basically just the same mechanic as Magical Girl, isn't it? Oh no, now I can't unsee it. I guess this is the first time that a bunch of characters would see like what Arrancar fully are. You know what I mean? Like Ichigo and his friends have seen it, but I like that Ikagu has like a sense of when Yamichika is making fun of people. It's just years of friendship. Have we recovered? Yep. See, like they don't fully know what it's like to fight an Arrancar that has like I mean Arrancar in general, and then let alone when in released form, that they have to like learn to compensate for that in a way that I've kind of gotten used to with like Ichigo having to fight them. I feel like Yumichika's also trying to hide how powerful his Zanpakuto is because it's like a secret, right? No one is supposed to know how powerful he is. Like he doesn't like to show the full power. And there's like a bunch of Soul Society people around that are gonna like be able to see and sense what he's doing. So, ooh, yeah. I was gonna say, are we gonna like punch him down to the ground again? Oh, I'm sorry, onto the pillar, not into the ground. In this instance. Is the name really that important? I was gonna say, he does not look convinced. I mean, we keep showing Yamichika's weapon, and that just makes me feel like we're actually gonna see him like fully use his ability. Because isn't it like it's a different type of weapon than people think? Like it's classified as a certain kind of weapon, and then it's like not actually it's not actually like what the weapon is. Oof. Just getting punched to the pillar, getting punched off the pillar. Ooh, headbutt. What? What's happening? Flowers? Thorns? Is this a special attack? What are we doing? I was gonna say it reminded me of like the Sleeping Beauty uh fairy tale. The like briar going around the castle. Oh, well now you can use your Zanpakuto fully because no one's gonna see it. So go for it, Yumichika. But like let me see. I would like to see. Here we go. Wow, he's got his own like vines going on. I was gonna say cocoon, but I guess it could also be a bud. Is it like, yeah, I was gonna say, is he taking his spiritual pressure? That's a pretty cool power. Which is probably like a good attack at this point with like an Arrancar that's in its released form and it's already like it has a bunch of output for their spiritual pressure. Dang, Yumichika. See, and like that puts into like a new perspective what that is after seeing like the Espada because we had pink hair who like had a similar thing of like taking the spiritual pressure out of people, right? Like he did with um what's Mayuri's lieutenant? Numo? I know it starts with an N. Anyway, her, which like basically like almost like mummifies people, right? So that's like an intense attack to use on people. I assume he also Yamichika has like some probably control over like how much spiritual pressure he takes from people, but I'm assuming in this case, like he's actually trying to kill this Arrancar, so I would like to know exactly why he wants to keep it a secret so badly though. Poor Ichigo. Are they? Their coat rooms? Well, I think we were kind of milking the comedic effect of like here are these two people who think they're the best thing that's ever happened fighting each other. I do like that we got to see Yamichika like get into a fight and like actually get to see his Zanpakuto and like what it really does because like I was saying during the reaction, we really only got to see him like hint at the power that his Zanpakuto possibly had and then we didn't actually get to see it like it cut away from the fight. So this is something that has been like, teased at us since Soul Society, and to finally get an idea of what is actually going on is really cool. Even if it reminds me of Pink Hair Espada, and that makes me like slightly uncomfortable given how I feel about him. But it is a cool power, and it looks like we're still gonna see some of that fight going into the next episode. There was like a brief clip in the preview of the same Arrancar that we were fighting, so that one. But it also looks like we are getting into some of the other fights. So I was worried with the whole like we're probably gonna leave the Ichigo versus Ukeora thing for a while because it wasn't anywhere in this episode, and I'm assuming we're going to continue to focus on these like four little fights that are happening at the pillars before the heavy hitters get involved. Other than that, I don't feel like I have a lot to get into. I feel like there's still the mystery of Yamichika like deciding to keep his like ability secret, and I'm pretty sure it's because like his Zanpakuto is classified a certain way, but it's not actually like what it is. It's kind of like, and I don't want to make this comparison either. I keep comparing him to villains, and I don't know why, but same with like Aizen. Like Aizen's Zanpakuto was classified as a, was it like a water ability? Like that's not actually what it is. So I feel like Yamichika's is kind of the same thing where everyone thinks that it has a certain ability, but it actually has this like ability to take spiritual pressure. So I don't know why he's deciding to keep that separate. I think it has something to do with like being in Squad 4, if I remember. Like he had some kind of thought that like it wasn't really like a combat style weapon, and because of that it would make him like not fit. He doesn't want the people in his squad to know that like his Zanpakuto isn't really like for combat necessarily. Like that's not, it's not like Ikagu's, which is like just more firepower behind his weapon and being able to use that to just like put more strength behind his attacks. Like that's not how his works. I think if I remember correctly that that's kind of his reason for it. But other than that, I don't feel like I have anything like really in depth to go in. I felt like we were leaning a little bit too much into the comedic side of that fight. So hoping that we'll pull back a little bit on that and kind of focus on some of the more like nuances. Of course, we had some weird comedic stuff going on during like the last part of this arc too. Hopefully we'll steer away from that a little bit, but I also know that Bleach sometimes has a weird comedic timing. So let's just get into episode 218. In 3, 2, 1, go. Be excited to see which fight we end up focusing on. I know someone said that there was some hype for Hizagi's fight. It just took me a while to remember his name. Um and I get that because we haven't really seen him fight. I think we briefly saw him fight in one of the flashbacks with like Renji and Kira, but I don't think we've like fully seen him fight. I like watching Ikagu fight, so maybe I'm biased towards that. I think Kira's is like the one I'm most excited for from like a story standpoint. I don't know if it'll be like the coolest visually, but from like a purely like character development and story side of things, I think Kira's will be the most interesting. He did. Hmm. Look at that shine on Ikagu's head. Yes, the beauty contest. Also, the whole like princess always gets her way is false. Every fairy tale ever explains how princesses don't get their way. Princes get their way. Princesses get rescued. I would also like to know what the accomplishment was going to be to the whole Briar thing. I mean, I know he's like, oh, so no one will be able to see you at the end and like denying that to you. But like it feels a little bit plot convenient esque. It feels a little bit like we are intentionally doing something so that Yamichika can do the cool power thing. Cracked the mask. Yamichika's Zanpakuto is quite pretty, actually. Like the ability of it. Yeah, I was like, I don't think it's Bankai. He didn't yell it. Yeah, see, thought I remembered that one. It was the keto based Zanpakuto. That was what he was trying to hide. Yep. Oh, that's right. I forgot that some of them have fought on Arrancar. I feel like we spend so much time with Espada that, like, in my brain, Espada and Arrancar are the same thing, even though they're not. And, like, I know that, but we spent so much time, like, not bothering with just Arrancar. This Arrancar style reminds me of fencing, which I'm assuming is intentional with the design of the Zanpakuto. Were we just testing him? Are we intentionally breaking our own mask now? Is that part of how he manages his power? Definitely seems to be playing around with being in a fight. I think he wants to be at the same level so that he can, like, have fun with the fight. It's a lot like how what like Kampachi does, where he doesn't want a fight to end right away, so he like pulls back on a lot of his power. Come on, Kira. Ooh, do we have a released form? Sure. Combat wings. They're never just wings, are they? They're always also a weapon. True. You're going to greatly decrease his ability to, like, his mobility if you're inside. Not only because he's, like, quite, like, big in stature, but also because the wings won't help him. Wings are really only useful if you're out in the open. Question. If Kira's jumping around all of these buildings and off doing stuff, couldn't someone just go up to the pillar he's supposed to be guarding and, you know, destroy it? I'm just saying, nobody's there right now, as far as we know. Yes, what are we doing? It's just a power up? There it is. I was saying that's wings aren't gonna do much good against Kira's ability because wings have to be light to have any effect. Sorry, I just trying to buy an insect. Does it? Kind of odd to have something like despair for the squad when you have someone like Geen who is always smiling. But we all know his smile is fake, so there's probably some deeper meaning under that, isn't there? We're just gonna move with the heavy wings. You're still gonna exhaust yourself, though. So Kira's just like holding up a Senpakuto, and I'm like, that is not going to block anything. Oof. What a way to take on an opponent like that, though. That's like, feels so much about like the spirit of like fighting and like persevering through something, like resolve, and just like making it so they physically can't even stand. Ooh. Sorry. Kira's a little bit metal. Because, like, dang. That's some executioner stuff right there. And I talk about how he's sweet. Maybe not in battle, though. That whole despair thing. Oh, I still kind of want to give him a hug, though. I feel like Kira's so hard on himself. I just want to hug him and tell him he did a good job. I was trying so hard not to yawn. I know for me anyway, if I'm like watching a video and somebody yawns, I end up yawning. It's a whole thing. So two down. It looks like there's a few other ones from the Ender though. That we're gonna get a few other Arrancar that we gotta fight. I don't know who's gonna fight them though. I'm kind of hoping for Visored. Shake things up a little bit. An odd sneak attack. A terrible sense of aesthetic. I want to focus in on Kira's story because I did say going into this that Kira's fight was like the one that I think has the most like story and character resonance because we know that Kira has like a bunch of, I don't know, personal stuff mixed up into what is it going on. So I feel like I want to just touch on how we got the information about the marigold. Was that the flower that is the symbol for his squad? I think so. But it meaning despair, and him like kind of going into how that is represented by the way that his squad views fighting and conflict, and the fact that it was about like not enjoying battle, especially coming after Yumichika's fight, who talked about why it was so important that he kept his Zanpakuto's like actual power a secret, and like how that goes into like what Squad 11 stands for, but also the extent to which he was willing to go to keep that secret and to like be seen in a certain way by his squad. Like he was willing to lose that fight and like die trying and not use his Zanpakuto to its full ability in order to like keep the like image that he has made of himself in the squad. And I feel like I'm not wording this in a way that makes it seem good. Like I feel like I'm wording it in a way that makes it sound like he's doing something really awful, and I guess you can make your own opinion about that, but that's not actually how I see it, and I'm not quite sure how I can wrap this around to how I actually look at it. I guess there's like a certain amount of honor that he wants to uphold, and I feel like if we were talking about this in that light, like if we were talking about it from like a moral way of going about it, it would be easy to see it as something good, because we're like, oh, someone should be willing to like, I don't know, have a certain standard going into a conflict and never break that standard in order to win a fight if it like sticks with their moral beliefs. And I feel like it's like I want that to kind of translate into like what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Yumichika, because I feel like I'm focusing on kind of like the aesthetic, which is like, I mean, I guess if we're talking about Yumichika, we should be talking about aesthetic, but that's like not really what I'm trying to get at with it. I feel like it is a type of honor, and it is a type of like frame of mind going into a conflict. We know that to Squad 11, there's like a very, how important someone's view of fighting is. I feel like I'm coming up at a loss of words, but I hope that you guys kind of understand what I'm talking about. But having that like juxtaposed with Kira's fight coming right after, where Kira is coming from a place of where fighting isn't to be glorified and it isn't to be seen as like this grand accomplishment. It's like a necessary thing that you have to do, but there isn't any like honor and glory in like relishing a fight. It's about like doing the thing even though you don't want to do it because it's like the right thing to do. I feel like that's where Kira is coming from. Like Kira doesn't want to fight, he doesn't want to hurt people, he doesn't like take joy in being a part of that, and he's like very much embodying that through like what he sees his squad as. He wants to help people, and I feel like that is like something that I've talked a little bit about in terms of like Ichigo. And Ichigo like legitimately enjoys fighting to a certain extent. I feel like Kira doesn't, and I don't know if that is him as a person, like that's just his personality type, or if that's him trying to adhere to what his squad kind of stands for. But I do think it has interesting connotations in how we understand Gin, because like I was saying in the reaction, he always has a smile. I wouldn't ever think of Gin as like despairing, but I think it's an interesting thing to lock away for later when we do get some backstory on Gin, because we haven't really. We've seen like brief little glances of what he was like as a child and when he was a prodigy and all that kind of stuff, but we don't really know his personality. Like he's been in a bunch of episodes, but I feel like I know nothing about him because he's always hiding behind a facade. Like there's always such a strong barrier between who he is and what everyone else sees him as. So I want to keep that in my brain for when we do get it, because I think it will have some resonance with what his backstory ends up being. You can click this playlist to see my other reactions in this arc, or you can subscribe. I post new Bleach episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!